Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Many people come to my comment section and say they type about something. They give me a hadith and they say I'm confused, or what they listen to a non-Muslim website. They say I have doubts. Now this is a warning to them. Um, what are nawaqid al-Islam? What are the things that can take you out of Islam? For example, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says Allah will forgive in a Sahih hadith that Allah will forgive my ummah of what their own minds or what shaitan whispers to them, as long as they do not say it, and as long as they do not do it. So the saying, for example, if a person started to say things that are kufr, like cursing the Prophet, or lying against the Prophet in a way to basically show his kufr, or basically speak words of kufr, right? That he means it. By that he leaves Islam. Another thing is the doings. For example, a person goes and prostrates to an idol, um, prostrates to someone, intending, knowing that if he does that, then he will leave Islam. For example, coming with magic actions, committing, sihr, for example, um, anything that has to do with the actions of a person, or basically, for example, a person ripping the mushaf, intending that he's ripping it for evil, or burning the mushaf, intending that he wants to do that, by like these non-Muslims who burn the Quran intentionally to have something bad on, basically just show that they are against it, right? Not like what Uthman radiallahu anhu did. Uthman radiallahu anhu, what he did is not to show his disrespect to the Quran, but to show that, to get rid of the scribe mistakes, or the mistakes that the people start to take into their own dialect. So the Quran was revealed in mutawatir. There are rejected qira'at that the people used to write down and think that if we make it in our language, in our dialect, against what the Prophet Muhammad SAW has recited. Because the Prophet Muhammad SAW, there is ashir qira'at that are mutawatir, that the Sahaba heard from the Prophet Muhammad SAW, which the Sahaba passed down to the Tabi'un, and the Tabi'un to the Tabi'un, and etc. 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 So that burning of the Masahif is not kufr for Uthman radiallahu anh, because he did not do it intentionally to show disrespect to the Quran, but to stop the ikhtilaf, to stop scribal mistakes, or people coming in mistakes in writing in the Quran, and etc. etc. And different recitations that have no tawatur chains. So if a person does that, like these Western people, they burn it, this is a kafir, khalas. Like if he has intention to disrespect the Quran, this is a kafir. A person who steps on the Quran is a kafir. And now I'm not saying accidentally, a person accidentally steps on it and says astaghfirullah, and takes it out without knowing that it's there. There's also what is between these two is al-i'tiqad, meaning the intention, not only the intention, the aqidah of a person. Okay. um, if a person, for example, sees something from these non-Muslims or Islamophobes that speak against the Prophet Muhammad SAW, and believes in it, he doesn't have to say it. For example, he doesn't have to prostrate or do it. If he has that doubt in his head, if he doubts it, if he doubts there's something wrong in the aqidah of Islam, or Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, or the Salafiyya, or the Salaf, if he doubts it, or example, he doubts something in the Quran, doubts something in the Sunnah, and he's confused, he keeps that in his mind, this is shak. This can take him out of kufr. This can take him out of Islam into kufr. A person who also has something different in i'tiqad, for example, he doesn't say it, he doesn't do it, but he has it in his mind that, and he believes it, and he keeps it in his mind. He keeps it as i'tiqad, and he believes it. This guy has also committed kufr. If a person believes what these Islamophobes say against Islam, and believe what they are saying is true and correct, this guy has committed kufr. This guy has left out of Islam. A person who doubts anything of the hadith, and doubting by that they doubt the Prophet Muhammad and they doubt the trueness of Islam, or doubt that Islam is, what these Islamophobes actually say against it, like they say lies against it, this person is a kafir as well. So it's not only the i'tiqad by a person changing his i'tiqad and yudhir al-i'tiqad. It's not basically that if a person changes his thinking about Islam or the aqidah of Islam in his brain, it's not only by saying it or doing it, it's also by keeping it in mind and doing katm, keeping it a secret. Okay, keeping it a secret that he doubts some things in Islam, or he disagrees with the hadith or the hukm of Islam. He doesn't say it, but he disagrees with it. This guy is a kafir as well. This guy has left Islam. So a person should beware of this, and especially those who come in the comments. If your intention is this, if your intention is what I said, then you have left Islam. So you have to be careful by that. You have to be careful what these Islamophobes say. As for the person, for example, who has doubts about, an Islamophobe said something, the person does not believe that Islamophobe, but he wants to reverse, he wants to change, he wants to ask question. This Islamophobe said something, I want your correct opinion about it, right? And if you give him the correct opinion and he believes it, no kufr on him. If he believes your opinion, you give it to him and he does not reject it, khalas, that's good. But a person who comes to you and doubts that and says, I have doubts about this or that, or this or that, or this or that, then he should beware, because this can lead him to kufr. A person who, for example, a doubt comes to him, shaitan whispers to him, and when he whispers to him, the person immediately doesn't believe him and says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, like the Prophet Muhammad taught us, then, and even he doesn't have to say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, but he has to keep his i'tiqad. He should not change his i'tiqad of what shaitan actually whispered. He should not believe what shaitan said. If this thing comes in his mind, he should not believe it. And the best thing to say is A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, because Allah clearly says in Surah Al-A'raf that if the shaitan, if basically a little whisper from shaitan comes, فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ, do isti'adah. That's the best thing. Some ulama say, and as through the hadith say, if whisper comes to you, say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, spit 3 dry spits on your left shoulder, right? And say Amantu billahi wa rusulihi, and say I believe in Allah and His messengers. This is what I have to say. Beware of this. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.